Follow along as I diagnose a relatively rare but very deadly parasite in my sheep. It started with finding this ewe cast, not once, but several times. Finding a ewe cast occasionally in a depression like this is not impossible, but finding her cast on several different occasions tells me there's something wrong with this ewe. When I got her up on her feet, I noticed that she was vigorously biting at her sides. I had seen her do this one other time where she actually fell over because she was so intent on biting her sides. This was, to me, was a clue of a possible parasite issue. Also, when she walked, I noticed that she kind of staggered, showing me that she had some difficulty with her legs moving properly. Now, she had just been righted from being cast for a while, so I had to come back and check and watch her again. My second clue was this lamb found totally paralyzed on one side. He could not get up. He would stand if I held him up, and so I put him in a cradle and treated him for both polio and for meningeal worm. And unfortunately, this lamb did not recover and had to be put down. You can see here that when I let him go, he's going to fall onto his right hip, demonstrating that he has some paralysis in the rear right side. My third clue was this, and this is a wonderful thing to see. Wonderful because it's an early warning sign. See that stripe on this lamb? That stripe is caused by a parasite migrating along a nerve in the belly wall of the lamb, and the lamb is biting at its side. That parasite is meningeal worm. The life cycle of the meningeal worm is that these worms are a normal parasite of deer, and they hatch into a larval stage, which is coughed up and then swallowed by the deer and pooped out in the feces. That larvae then migrates into a snail, and the deer come along and eat the snail, and the process repeats itself. The problem is, in sheep, is that this meningeal worm, also called the brain worm, migrates out of the gut and along a nerve in the belly wall up to the spinal cord, and then it burrows into the spinal cord of the sheep and paralyzes the sheep. And it's usually a death sentence unless you can treat it promptly enough before the damage is done. This parasite is also why we don't see many moose in places with a big white-tailed deer population, because it's called brainworm, and this parasite is known to get into the spinal cord and into the brain of moose and also kill them. The meningeal worm is a relatively rare parasite in my experience. I do know there are some parts of the country where it's a bit more common, but I think the last time I had any trouble with meningeal worm was possibly over 10 years ago. So for me, it hasn't been a big problem. The problem with meningeal worm is it requires very prompt treatment. Sometimes you have just a matter of hours to take care of that sheep and treat it to kill the meningeal worm. And then you also have to administer some anti-inflammatories and antibiotics to prevent any inflammation near the spinal cord. The reason that you have so little warning is usually there's absolutely no symptoms until the moment that the parasite starts to drill into the spinal cord. So by the time you know that they have it, it's almost too late. The best way to detect meningeal worm is to make your sheep walk around and observe their gait. This ewe is the ewe that got cast, and you can see she shows an exaggerated gait on the left hind limb. I'm going to be treating her again. And watch for this stripe.